Hi, my name is Ivy Starnes, and I'm a gaited horse trainer from Fort Worth, Texas. Today we're talking about, can you run up to your horse? Now, it does seem kind of silly. Like, of course you can run up to your horse. But I've actually been amazed at how many horses, young and old, you can, even if you did a slow jog, just the idea that you're moving a little faster than a walk can terrify some horses. And I have an example to show you, not of a terrified horse, but of a horse that's pretty good with it, to show you what I mean by run up. People have been asking me for things to do this year in the winter. What are things you can do in the stall or an arena or a very small area, because there's ice. Most of us can find a small area to work that's safe. And if it's an enclosed area, I recommend you do this training at Liberty. If it's more open, definitely halter and lead rope. And longer lead rope is good, not just a 10-footer. And this video I'm going to show you is me working with my horse, running up to her. When she doesn't move, I give her a treat. That's a really good way to do it. Start farther away. So my horse is actually pretty good. But if you find your horse is just terrified, I want you to start 20 or 30 feet away and just jog in place. And if the horse doesn't move, go up and give a treat. For most of you, probably your horses are going to be okay with it, but you won't know until you try. And these are things you can do in a very small area, and it makes your horse just safer, just for you to know. And make sure you do it on both sides. So take a look. Okay, so it's very common for horses to be scared when someone runs up to them, whether they have anything in their hands or not. It's actually very common, even just jogging. Like this motion, look at her head came up. I don't know if I've done this with her. I probably haven't. So we're gonna just see how she does. And she's at Liberty, so she can leave. She's in a round pen, but she can leave if she wants. What I wanna do is be able to jog up to her and not have her worry at all. And I want to be able to do that on both sides. And this is a super important part of any horse. So I do this especially with young horses that learn it very quickly, but it doesn't matter. If you have an older horse, you definitely need to do it with them and make sure. So we start out by slow jog up, very slow, lots of up and down. Good girl, good girl, here you go. And she didn't move. Her head came up, which showed she was a little concerned, but she didn't move. And we want to be able to jog up. Good, and I didn't expect her to spook. Hopefully we'll be able to get a video at some point with a horse that will. And over time, you do, and I, just jump next to her, and she doesn't care. She didn't move. That's good. But there are horses that if you just did this, they would actually spook and run the other way. So you're welcome to have a halter on the horse if you don't have a safe area, what you're willing to do it at Liberty. So I have to do it on the other side, the off side. So we start out little, lots of up and down. And she doesn't look too concerned now. She's a little more concerned early on. Good job. But this is super important because I know lots of horses that spook at this. And for whatever reason, just your head going up and down can make horses scared. Good girl. And you can try running from farther. And you can see her head came up. She was worried she didn't move. So clearly she's not too worried about people, which is normal. Good job. Good job. But it's very important just to do that. I can't stress enough to make sure your horse is good with that. Put a halter on. Don't do it with the reins and the bridle. Put a halter with a longer lead rope or a lunge line and see if your horse is good with it. If they're good with it, ta-da, you don't have to worry about it. And make both sides. If your horse is worried about it, then you can use classical conditioning, pairing food with you coming up if you want, and it's super easy. And again, you don't even have to hand feed. You can drop it in a bucket. That's good. So running up to a horse may seem like a simple thing, but I was amazed when I was starting horses under saddle how many of them were scared of me jogging. Even jogging 5-10 feet from them, just kind of going up and down was very scary. So if your horse is good with it, just try it out, and then you know for sure that you can run up, and then you can practice running up with things in your hands or on you, raincoats and coats and stuff. Again, I assume most horses are fine with it, but it is amazing how horses that are calm and allow even tarps, sometimes just that person running up on either side is pretty scary. And so it's something that you can train and just check. Again, I know lots of people whose horses are probably fantastic with this. But if you're looking for something to check that. Also, I'm going to be doing a video very soon, and maybe even today I'll do it, about all the things you can do in the winter, all these exercises. It's going to be a longer video, closer to 40 minutes, and it's going to show you different exercises to do with your horse if you have a small space over winter. And this is only part one. I'm sure there's lots. And this only shows you the start. So like I talk about how to practice deworming your horse, but I only show you the first 2 sessions. So she's not ready to be dewormed, but I wanted to show you how you get started. And I love showing things with a horse that doesn't know how to do it. So like in this video about things you can do in the winter, I'm going to train your horse to back up to something and how they can lift their back and how good it is. But Serenity is not that great at it. So you get to see me struggle with the horse, struggle, and not be perfect, which is usually more beneficial to people. I don't think we have any, let's see if we have any questions. Let's see. Tracy asks, how do you keep your horse from bothering you for treats all the time? That is a fantastic question, and I'll share a link in the description. I have a free video on teaching your horse not to mug, and I give lots of treats. This horse is used to getting treats all the time when I get her out, and I do this and I don't have a hard time. Elizabeth says, I've always wondered if they are worried about what's chasing you. That's a really good point. I don't know if the horse is thinking that I'm being chased, but it doesn't matter. Just like with even things that chase horses, we want them to be okay with it. Nancy says, great idea. We have a lot of multi-user trails with joggers that have earbuds in and don't see your horse until they're on top of you. It can freak out a lot of horses. There you go. That's an excellent reason to do this training, is to make sure your horse, just like I said, even jogging up and down, even if they're not fast and the horse is good with people walking up, for whatever reason, that movement of jogging seems to make horses freak out more than they would about anything else a person can do. Anna says, what treats do you recommend for rewarding behavior? I get this question a lot. I have a whole video on it because I use whatever I have. I normally use some kind of a grain. To do this time, I used a mixture. I had treats from a friend, little treats that came from a clinic, and then I had 2 different kinds of grain that I used. It's a good idea to use like the lowest common denominator, so the lowest thing the horse will eat, rather than high value. And I'll share the link to the treats I use in the video in the description when I finish this video. Those are good questions. And yeah, my horse does not bother me because and one thing, you see how many, that's a really good point. So you see how many times I feed her? If we were to watch this video of me
anything,
when I run up to her, she gets a treat and she's
in a round pen, but she can leave if she wants.
That the food is good.
What I want to do is be able to jog up to her and not have her worry at all. And I want to be able to do that on both sides.
And I have a free video.
This is a super important part of any horse. So it doesn't matter.
Like I run up, give her a whole handful.
Very slow. Like lots of up and down.
Jog up. She's concerned because her head is up.
Here you go.
She gets a treat.
And she didn't move. Her head came up. She didn't move.
Then either give another treat or go on with the training. See, she's still chewing.
Good. And I didn't expect her to.
No biggie. Okay, new comment. Tracy says, awesome, thanks. Anna said, thank you so much. I think that's all I have for questions. So there's a couple good reasons. If you have someone jogs up to you, if you have a jogger on the trail, just that motion of going up and down can scare a horse. So definitely take a look at that. Do this training. Wintertime is an excellent time if you live where it's cold to do this. You can do it in a stall, in a round pen, in an arena. You can do it with a halter and lead rope, or you could do it at Liberty. You can use treats, you can not use treats. But make sure your horse is comfortable with it and use your training method. I use food, and it's okay if you don't. Anyway, if you have any questions, go ahead and comment. Please share the video because it can help a lot of people that trail ride their horses and come across joggers, and it's a safety thing. So go ahead. I hope you guys have a great day. Stay tuned. We'll have another live video in about 15 minutes where I'll talk about different things you can do for the winter. You got this.